Can you hear me now? Am I too loud? Okay. Am I too loud? Okay. Um, so, since you guys couldn't hear me, this is Naughty Narratives podcast, and I am Nurse Nips. I am streaming a little bit early today because it is my husband's birthday weekend, and we are going to do some fun activities with him later. So, let's get into this ending, shall we? We left off where Gabriel and Deanna were in the mansion about to canoodle. Um, they are in there kind of stripping each other down. Well, she's kind of stripped down. She starts taking. Yes. She starts taking off his clothes and realizes that he also has scars. Um, he has acid-like scars that look like it was poured down from his collarbone down to his stomach. Um, canoodling. So she finds out by taking his clothes off, like he also has scars, and they start to kind of get to know each other better on a physical level. She's losing her virginity at this point, so let's see. So they get down and dirty. Not gonna go into details. If you wanna read it, you can read the book. It's not super smutty, but it does give like a setting and everything. So they do that, get to know each other. She ends up leaving about a week later. She realizes that she wants to introduce him to her friends. Go into detail. I mean, do you want me to read you the part if I can find it? Let's see. um, you're being loud, guys. The scene is you are much too far away for me to really see all of your loveliness, he said with a devilish grin. Then maybe you need to come over here and take a closer look. Rising from the couch carefully, like before, he circled around, looking me up and down. No, I think there's only one way to truly appreciate you, and that's right here. He took me in his arms. Now I was the one who sighed, his skin so warm and soft, it felt like home. Moving to the music, I danced half naked in February in an abandoned mansion with no heat. I only felt him. One arm wrapped across my lips and his other hand on my spine. We swayed back through another song. Lovingly caressing the roughness of his back made me restless. As he pressed close, I felt the hardness of him against my lower belly. I wanted more, but didn't have the words. Then I didn't need them as his lips found mine. If he had been dedicated before, he wasn't now. His tongue swept across mine. Suddenly I was drowning in lust, wanting his hand on me, everywhere. Palming my breast through the stained material of my bra wasn't enough, so he reached behind me to unhook the clasp with 2 fingers. With a sensuous twist of my shoulders, the red satin dropped to the ground. Finally, my hard nipples pressed against the roughness of his chest. I wanted to slide up and down, rubbing them on him like a cat, but he stopped me, licking the path of my scarf from my ear down to my throat and to my left breast. Oh my god. Teasingly, he traced a path around my areola before he plunged his mouth on me. Hypersensitive to such, I always wondered if it would hurt if someone ever touched me there, but he held the roundness of my breast delicately. So gentle with his tongue and the slight suction, I gasped with pleasure. Then he moved to the other side, overwhelming me. I wanted to press my knuckles against myself to stop the throbbing between my legs. Instead, he touched me there, held me in the palm of his hand, feeling my heat through the silk. His mouth on my breast was heaven, but I needed. He slipped a finger under the cloth and went right to where I was most sensitive. He lifted his mouth off my breast and whispered, just as he brushed his wet tip of his finger across the head of my clit, "You are so wet." Answering him with a guttural cry, he swept slowly back and forth across my cleft. Right on the edge, he slipped his finger inside me and stroked the roughened spot just near the entrance. "Oh my god," I gasped as I collapsed over him. Twisting in ecstasy, I was caught between his slowly moving finger and the warmth of his mouth. Legs shaking, he had me balance on the palm of his hand and gently grasped my breast. I spasmed in orgasm over and over from his twin assault. I screamed out and he stopped. He held me tight to stop the shivering. It wasn't from being cold. Pain was always my constant, but I had no idea I could feel such pleasure from someone else. My body didn't know how to process it. I didn't either. "Help me," I croaked out. That's all I'm going to read from that. Yes. So you can read more of that scene if you get the book. But so they end up going and meeting his friend or her friends. So she takes him to Luigi and what's his name? Well, the two gay friends, Luigi and his boyfriend. She takes him to them before they go to a dance, and he goes in, he talks to them. They look a little weird. I think it's Luigi that takes him in back and talks to him while the other one's talking to her. The both of them come back out, and Luigi is looks like a ghost, like he's seen a ghost. So she's kind of like a little worried, but she's like, whatever. So they leave. They end up meeting Alex. Ooh, yummy. They end up going and meeting Alex, which is her other best friend. Well, he ends up getting a bad vibe from him too. So he ends up wanting to talk to her. So he kind of is like, "Hey, when you have time, I need to talk to you." So those other two, Gabriel and Diana, go do their thing. So it's like, it begs the question, like, if she's taking him to her friends, and it's a good book. So she's taking him to her friends. Her friends are not seeing the same person she is. She is seeing, this loving, caring guy that she, loves. Hell yeah. And then, they are seeing something totally different than she is. Like, they're kind of scared looking. That happened while her and Alex were meeting. They were talking about it, and he's like, I don't really trust this guy. Me and you have been friends. I've told you everything. I've been honest with you. Heck yeah. That would be fun. And then we can, like, always come on, like, we can do a thing where all of us get on the mic or whatever. We can do a Discord call or something and talk about the book. That'd be fun. So they talk. He's like, hey, I want to be honest with you because I've always been honest with you. I don't think he's a good guy. I don't think you see him for who he really is. Like, you're blinded. So while that's going on, in the next chapter, one of the Barbies, Dawn, the one that was kind of the mean girl and pushed her and like ripped her clothes and stuff at the dance. Yeah. She was found under the bridge near the old building. She was cut to pieces as well. The detectives questioned her like they had 6 years ago because they're like, hey, your friends were found dead 6 years ago in somewhat of the same fashion. What's going on? Do you know anything? They didn't really get very far. She was like, I don't know what's going on. I wasn't there. I was with Alex last night. I have no idea what's going on. So Ben ends up showing up to her work and confronting her and saying, "Oh, well, I didn't kill Dawn. I didn't do this. You got to believe me. I know you didn't do it." So he was just freaking out, but he ended up leaving. Well, he ends up later disappearing too. The detectives pull her in again for questioning. So she's thinking that she's going into questioning for Dawn, whose body was found. But she actually goes in and they're like, oh, well, these 5 guys are missing. Dawn's dead. And what's connected to all this? You are. One of the missing guys is your uncle. One of the guys is the missing dad from one of the girls that were found dead with you 6 years ago. And you are kind of the connecting piece. So what is going on? She gets confused and she's like, what do you mean all these people are missing? So the nice detective from 6 years ago says, hey, you might want to get a lawyer, just because the mean detective is going to be hardcore pressing everything on you. He believes you're guilty. He's gonna make it look like you're guilty. Like you are going to be guilty no matter what. He is going to do this. So she goes and talks to her guidance counselor and is like, hey, like, I don't know what to do. I told them I could get a lawyer because I work at the station and the station's supposed to cover me for liabilities and stuff. And the counselor's like, we don't do that unless, yeah, what a dick, right? We don't do that unless, you're working and then you're covered for while you're working, but you weren't here. So, and then she also mentioned, she's like, hey, I've noticed that your eyes are kind of going glossy like the past couple weeks. Like, are you okay? Are you on drugs? Like, what is going on? So her guidance counselor and the good detective kind of are talking and they're like, oh, I wonder if she's on drugs because her eyes are glossed over and everything. Well, Deanna doesn't even realize that her eyes have been glossed over at all. So she's like looking like she's on drugs, which she's not. she thought maybe she was like, hey, maybe it's not drugs, but I have been getting hot and heavy with my boyfriend lately, so maybe it's all the endorphins from that. In the next chapter, Deanna and Gabriel talk about what's been going on. They talk about the veil and if they can figure out how to open it again. So they try to figure out what to do, like if it's something that they have to do together to get it open, or if it's something Deanna has to do. So, and like you kind of find out here soon kind of what that's all about. So Gabriel's like, I'll help you with money for an attorney. I'll do anything for you. I love you. Like, he actually professes his love to her and tells her, like, hey, I'm in love with you. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. We can move. We can do whatever. We can get out of here. I'm just in love with you, and I want you to be okay, and I want everything to be okay. While everything's going on, Evil Bet is a kind of like an administrator at a hospital, so she can kind of go into records and like look at things. So Deanna had asked her, hey, can you go and look into Dawn's medical records to see like what her autopsy reports were. You're good. So he goes, or crap. Oh yeah, so she's talking to Evil Bet, and they're discussing, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but like, yeah, she does have a lot of flashes like she committed suicide, but there's also something weird going on. She has two or three drainage marks, like something had taken a needle and poked it in her and drained her blood. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that's kind of like what's happening. So she's kind of like, oh, well, that's crazy, because like the friends that died before, like I didn't see any puncture marks. It was all just slashes and gashes and everything, and so she was kind of confused about that. But she ends up she's like, tells her grandma, like, hey, stuff's going weird. If I tell you to get out of town, take my family and get out of town. And so they talk. Deanna talked to Alex again. He told her again, hey, Gabriel's not good for you, that he's the type of man that likes hurting and going beyond that. She doesn't see it at first. He tells her Luigi said he talked in an ancient dialect that got her hurt, or that he got her the same time people started going missing, and that Gabriel was the one who killed her friends and was now back to finish her. She was scared. So, like, yes. So basically, like, from her and Alex's conversation, like, they were talking and everything, and he's like, I can tell he's a person that likes to, he's gonna end up hurting you, because so Alex has a dark past of when he gets super drunk, he likes going and getting mistreated by people to feel good, if you know what I mean by mistreated. So they talk, and he's like, we got to figure out something. Haven't you noticed that everything started happening 6 weeks ago when he showed up? 6 weeks ago people started going missing. 6 weeks ago your friend started dying again. So everything that has been happening has been since 6 weeks ago. Like, there has to be some type of correlation. Like, yeah, he's gonna love you, but he's gonna love bomb the shit out of you before he tries to hurt you again. So they come up with this elaborate plan, and then she ends up talking to Billy, who is the kid from the bar. he also goes to her school and stuff. He's actually been watching her for quite a while. So you figure out that Billy is part of a pagan faith. So, like, deals with, like, witchcraft and all that. He's like, hey, you know, I know what happened that night when your friends died. I know what you are. Well, we know that you're very powerful and you can do things that you don't understand, but that's like, don't get upset because nobody ever taught you how to do this stuff, but I'm here to teach you now, and I'm sorry that I wasn't here for you before. So Deanna figures out that she's a gatekeeper. We still don't really find out much about that in this book. Really? She's a gatekeeper, and so we don't, like I said, we don't really know what that all entails. If it entails her being a witch or her just opening portals or whatever. But so her and Billy come up with this elaborate scheme like, hey, you're going to go talk to Gabriel and try to get him to tell you what's going on, and I'll be over here with, you know, my things to try to get him to go back from wherever he's from. At this point, they kind of are suspecting that Gabriel is a demon because he came from a portal. He doesn't eat, and he's killing. So as far as they know, like, that's what it is. They go and he kisses her. Billy does. So Billy has had a crush on her for a while. He kisses her and says, hey, you know, we're gonna come out of this. We're gonna do this. Everything's gonna be okay. She ends up calling the shadow people that she met in the hospital and gets them involved. They're like a big, like, organization that fights paranormal shit. So they end up talking about the plan too, but she doesn't tell them that Billy's there. She just tells them that she's going in alone. So she gets off. They're like, hey, in 2 hours we're gonna have a guy come and pick you up, and you're gonna go talk to Gabriel. So she goes back to her house, dials up Billy, says, hey, I need you to meet me at this mansion. I think I know where all the bodies are of the people that are killed. Can you meet me there? So she ends up getting off the phone, going to the mansion where Billy's at. Her and Billy are going, they're digging through everything, and they're like, oh, okay, we gotta, like, look in the pool. So what they do is they end up taking, like, a really long rod and, like, putting it in the pool, the pool is at this point like a pond. It has algae, moss, like, it's gross, disgusting, because it's been abandoned for years. So she goes and they find a rope, they pull a rope up. Well, it's one dead body. And so they're like, okay, well, we can't really figure out who this is because the body's so decomposed and blown up that they can't tell. They root around, find a second one, pull it up, same thing. Third one, pull it up, it's her uncle. Fourth one, pull it up, it's the guy's or the girl's dad. And then the last one that they pull up is actually Billy's friend that is also from the I guess cult, you can say, I guess their little cult circle. And he's like, oh no, like, I was wondering where he went. I didn't see him in a while. And so then they're like, well, Gabriel must have Ben and another person. So, hi, love. So they're sitting there trying to figure out, going through, like, where can they be. So she ends up calling up Gabriel and is like, hey, I need to meet you. We need to talk. I know what you did. He's like, you need to come alone. I don't want you to bring I know you got the detectives on me, or not detectives, but the detectives from the Shadow Paranormal Force. You can't trust them. Please trust me. I'll tell you everything when you get here. And she goes, well, I don't want to meet you because you're bad and everything. And he's like, well, I have Ben. If you want Ben, I will give you Ben, and I will not kill him as long as you come and meet me. So her and Billy end up going and meeting Gabriel at the old schoolhouse. Well, Billy goes separately, so she goes and actually meets the shadow guy, who's actually the guy that was in the hospital with her. They are talking. He's like, don't trust Gabriel, like he's not from this world, don't believe anything he says. So they talk or whatever. He's like, like, I will protect you, that's what I'm here for, I'm gonna do whatever I can. Yeah, she's got to go meet him. So he goes and he kind of drops her off a block away from the school, so that way Gabriel doesn't know that she's with anybody. And so she goes up to Gabriel and starts talking to him. Well, she ends up finding out that, surprise, surprise, he's a vampire. He is from a very ancient vampire cult. So he was basically sent over to her world when she opened the portal to try to figure out and bring back people like her, because she's a gatekeeper, so she can open portals for them to feed. And she does not like that. She's like, I don't like this at all. Like, no, we're not doing this. I'm not feeding you guys. You're not feeding on my people. Like, this is ridiculous. So then the badass shadow guy gets out of the car and goes over, and he ends up getting in a tussle with Gabriel. Well, while Gabriel and the shadow dude are like in a tussle, it clicks in Deanna's head. Hey, I haven't had a period in the past month. I'm super late. And so it's like, oh shit, she might be pregnant. So then she like yells to Gabriel and is like, I'm pregnant. And then the guy ends up hearing that, and then so she ends up, I don't know if it's from the guy or what, but she ends up taking a knife to the gut. I don't know if it was the shadow guy that, like, tried to kill the baby if he thought she was having a baby, or if it was somebody else. But she ends up opening a portal because she's so emotional, and Gabriel ends up getting sucked back into the portal. She ends up collapsing because she got shanked in the stomach. And then everybody else basically lived, and then that's kind of where it leaves off. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here, like if she's still pregnant, if they find each other again, if she tries to open a portal, who these people are about. Yeah, basically. Because, you can't be having a half vampire baby. Because that's just not okay. So, she's actually coming out with a second book. And it is going to be called Deep Ellum. And then its book 2 is called The Gatekeeper series. Did you guys want me to... It's like there's about a page of kind of like what the next book is going to be about. Would you like me to read that for you? Yeah, there's more books coming. Her second book, Deep Ellum, is supposed to be published next year. But here is
A new follower.
Hi, thank you for the follow, Heather. Deep Ellum is book 2 of the Gatekeeper series, and then this is an excerpt from it. She says, somehow I survived, justified or not. Escaping from the commission's headquarters, I started over a new identity, a new job. Now I was DJ Anona at the Barons, the hottest nightclub in the retro Deep Ellum neighborhood of Dallas. I left everything behind except the guilt and shame. So I hid behind my DJ booth, played music I love, and prayed for better self-control. It was life of patience for misusing my psychic powers, and a lonely one. Sometimes after closing, I'd put on a Luther Vandross and dance by myself, gliding across the glossy wooden floor. He made me feel like the most beautiful woman alive. His voice, the aching loneliness and simple turn of phrase, brought me to tears in a way I could never cry about my own lost childhood. Even someone as damaged as I was still had memories of being held. I'd wrap my arms around myself, sweeping and swaying across that wide open space too, if only for one night. A loud banging at the back of the door made me run over to see if a coworker had left something behind. It wouldn't be the first time, but not before I grabbed the gun. I always kept it hidden in the DJ booth. It didn't help that the man I once knew, now dead on the doorstep of the club. My new name was written on the note attached to his blood-soaked coat. I never thought someone from the past could have been outside listening, or that it wasn't the first night that they'd heard me there, alone with Luther in my memories. Looking down at the man's mangled body, I was hurt, heartbroken, and terrified. The nightmare about my past that still woke me up so many times screaming and sweating had finally come true again, because that was my real high school deja vu. Thomas Wolfe once said, you couldn't go home, but no one tells you something horrific could drag your ass right back to it. Oh my god. Yeah, a lot of people are like that. I should have waited till all of her books came out, but now I'm gonna be super excited. Hopefully I can get the second one signed too. She signed this one because I got to meet her in person. So hopefully I'll be able to get the second book in person again with her signing it. It does. It sounds really good. And I'm just, like I said, I'm like, is she gonna... I mean, obviously it kind of sounds like she didn't have the baby, so maybe she wasn't pregnant, or maybe she did yeet. But, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see if douchebag comes back into her life, or if she perhaps brings over another paranormal. Cause, like, I'm wondering if she is gonna keep bringing over different, like, I can't say species, but, like, you know what I mean, like vampires, goblins, all that. Like, I wonder if she's gonna bring all those over since she's a gatekeeper. And I'm wondering if she figured out how to hone her gatekeeperness, and if Billy's in the picture, or if she kind of just left. They might be. She's such a small author. I don't think she has very many books out. I know that it's not on audiobooks. I haven't looked at Kindle yet. Her book is on Amazon. I could always let you borrow mine too. But yeah, so definitely, like, I thought, like, the second half of the book that he was gonna be a demon, because it was like, oh, he's not eating. What doesn't eat? A demon doesn't eat. But ends up being a vampire. It's crazy. Her name is Laura Kane, and she actually does the voice of Trudy in Fallout. So here's the... You get it? But yeah. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is Moonless Nocturne. It is apparently a bunch of short stories in one book. So what I will be doing is reading each short story and then kind of posting about it and teasing it a little bit on like my Instagram. And then at the end of reading all the stories, I will come on and kind of recap on the whole book. So, yep, that's the next one that I'm going to be reading. If you would like to read along with. Yes. What is the question? Oh, it's also a Tales of Dark Fantasy and Horror. Yes, I do. I love book recommendations because I'm very, like, I like to figure out, like, what other people are reading and then read them myself. So if you have any good book recommendations, I would love to take them. I pretty much anything. I like smut. I like horror, paranormal. Trying to think. Short stories, funny stories, detective. I like anything. Yeah. No, I mean I could always take book recommendations though. Like I still have a bunch to read, so I can always put it on my TBR. Um Scar, if you or babe, can you put the Discord link in the thing? Holy cow. Yeah, that's how I used to be. I used to read a lot. But working at this new place that I work, I haven't really had time to read unless I'm at home. You put the Discord link in my chat, babe. So yeah, Heather, if you want to go there, there's a section under naughty narratives. Yes, audiobooks are the best. I love audiobooks. I could read like 3 or 4 audiobooks at a time. But yeah, if you go to that Discord and then go to the naughty narrative section under nurses, you can feel free to drop any recommendations that you think would be good, and then I will start checking them out and trying to get these other books knocked out, so then that way I can discuss books that you guys have already read. That would be fun to do. Under the Whispering Door. Yeah, I remember you saying that. You gotta go put it in there so that way I have it written down so I can remember. Because if not, I'm scatterbrained and don't remember. But that is gonna be it for today. It will probably be a little bit before my next stream, but keep an eye out on my socials. I have an Instagram. I'm going to upload this to YouTube if you missed any of it and want to check back. If you like fantasy, is a great series for free on Audible. Oh, nice. Yeah, you'll have to go put that in there so that way I know and can go read it because I love Audible. Agatar once I finish it. Well, yeah, you got to finish it first and then we could talk about it because I've read all 5 books, so we can do that one pretty fast. But thank you for coming in, and we will see you guys next time. Love